Hello, my name is Chris Ross. And in this session of our Head Coaches Academy, we're going to be covering being a head coach is not an individual sport. For many of you, you got your marching orders, you were an assistant coach, you clearly did a great job, that's why you're a head coach now, but you did the work, okay? Your job is about to change. Let's go through some of the key points of this lesson. Number one, the key roles of a head coach involve leading, managing, mentoring, growing, developing, and motivating other people. The key word on this would be others. Most of you have been, you've been the one, you had the plan from the head coach and you were the one that was with those players and like you made it happen. Okay, as a head coach, it's not just leading other players. Now you're going to be leading adults and it is profoundly different. The next piece, a head coach produces results through the efforts of others. This would be athletes, assistants, boosters, parents, etc. And we have to have a plan for each. Now, what does a head coach do? Well, there's an old business saying, and in it they say, we are all in sales and development. So you have to be able to sell not only yourself to all of these groups, but your vision and for the mission, and that you can produce the results necessary through other people to lead to success. Now, as we go through this, let's talk a little bit about what this looks like. You know, a head coach obviously has to sell their vision. What do we mean by that? You're going to provide the we will be and we will do. What is the journey? Where are we going? You think about this, they don't necessarily want to know about your plan. They want to know that all of this is going to lead to success for the team and also for them. I think too many times as head coaches, we're just looking at the grand vision and we think that everybody shares the same vision for success that we do, that the team would win. In today's age with our athletes, you have to also be able to get down on their level and say, yes, we will win and you will win as well. And this is how. This is a journey. And you're trying to get everybody to buy in and want to take this journey with you. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. You have to show them that this hard work is going to be worth it. Now, delegation of authority. Every great head coach can do this. If you can't manage other people and get work done through the efforts of others, then you will not be a successful head coach. To do this, you have to have a vision for what their roles and responsibilities will be. Now, I know in different sports, in different areas, your staffs are going to look very, very different. But I'm assuming that you're going to have some support in what you're doing. So in this staff, what does it mean to be a staff member for you? What expectations do you have for them? What will be their responsibilities? What will success look like? How about the athletes, parents and boosters? What role, what active role do parents get to play in your program? There should be something. We want them to be a part of the team. Boosters, administration, and then mentors. I think all great coaches have mentors. They have somebody that they can go discuss some of these issues with. You know, you don't have to know everything, but you need to know where you go when you don't know, right, guys? Now, another thing, head coaches define success for everyone in the program. Like we said, a successful athlete, staff member, parents, administration. A head coach develops a process and a system for improvement. I think great coaches can take each one of these groups, give them an expectation, show them what success should be in there, and then be able to move them from where they're at to where that we want them. If you can't develop your athletes, develop your coaches, then you're never going to be a successful head coach. The next piece of it, a head coach develops this process and system. By doing this, you're giving hope. Think about this. Everybody, like we don't mind working hard. Heck, but we all want to know that our hard work's going to matter. It's going to be worth it. You know, we'll climb the mountain if we know the view is going to be worth all of this hard work. How do they know that? How do they know that their hard work is going to lead to success? You're selling not only just a vision of success, you have to sell them that you're the one, you're the expert, you're the one that can lead them to where they want to be. I think too many times we just get up and just start talking about our plan and we never really set this vision and help them understand that we're going to be successful, your hard work will be worth it, and this is why. That is your job. Make no mistake, motivation is a part of being a head coach. And then, of course, a head coach has got to develop standards and expectations for everyone in the program. All of these different groups. But then as you sit back and you think about, okay, an assistant coach, what are all the things that an assistant coach has to do in your program at a high level? You need to make sure that you have defined success, that you've trained them for that, and that they understand that it's important. So if you're not delegating, training, and evaluating constantly, then some of these things are going to fall through the cracks. So how will you teach? If you're an assistant coach, how will we talk to our players? How will they grow as assistant coaches? What do you want the relationship to look like with that player and the coach? That's your responsibility now. We will prepare like this. What will practice look like? How will they know this? We will run practice like this. We will conduct ourselves like this. Understand this, that you represent your community, your club, those kids, and your assistant coaches. They in turn do the exact same thing. There has to be a certain standard and expectation set for just what type of people you're going to have on your staff. And then we will communicate like this. It might be as simple as, how do the kids how do they know where they're supposed to be? How do the parents get this information? But more importantly, how are you going to communicate these things in a positive manner with all of these groups? What is that standard going to look like? And how are you going to evaluate it to make sure that it's done up to your standard? Now, on our next slide here, we're going to talk a little bit about what this, as far as development, looks like. You as a head coach, you obviously set the vision. It is your assistant's job to produce the results. Like we said at the beginning, as assistant coaches, we got the plan and we went and did the work. We're used to that. As a head coach now, you have to be able to delegate responsibly, and then also be ready to train and evaluate as they work through this. You have to now you have to deliver results through the efforts of other people. As an assistant, you were doing this through your athletes. Now as a head coach, you're doing this through boosters, through assistants, maybe through your administration. You have to get everybody to share your vision and then lead them towards success. Now, your job as a head coach is to get the right people on the bus and in the right seat. I will say this, there are very, very few head coaches that get fired for aptitude. It's usually attitude. When I'm looking at hiring coaches, and we're going to get more into this and more in depth in a later discussion, I'm looking for a great person. I want intelligent, I want creative, I want high character, and I can teach the sport that we play to anybody that has those three things much easier than I can teach them to be a good person. Hire great people and put them in the right position to help you be successful. You can teach the skill set. As a head coach, one of your most important jobs is the management of other adults' time. Think about this. Every meeting, every practice, every day that you have them with you working and trying to improve the program, they're not with their own kids. They're not with their families. They're not getting to do what that they wanted to do. That's fine and good as long as you're being productive. There's a big difference between being productive and being busy. You own their time. Don't ever forget that. Here's the last thing we'll talk a little bit about, this culture. Everybody throws this around. What is it? Why is it a thing? A culture is your beliefs and what it feels like when you're doing the work. As an assistant coach, you had that feel with your kids, your small group. That's great. And you understood what that was like. As a head coach, you have to understand that everybody in your program, not only do they represent you, this culture that we talk about, they get to own their piece of it as well. If you don't set this vision and help them to understand what it's going to feel like to be coached by you and work in your program, then this can go sideways in a hurry. I think this is established at the top, but it has to constantly be evaluated all the way down to your athletes.